Alright, Sophie, you do that. I'm going to make another video. Here we go. Alright, at someone's suggestion, I'm going to show how I used my new end-stop Z probe for bed leveling and mapped that out in Excel. So, first thing you want to do is home your printer. This is so exciting. I'm going to use Printerface, and what I'm going to do is send a G29 to my printer. So G29 goes through the bed leveling procedure. I have defined this in my firmware as being a 5x5 grid, so it's going to take 5 samples and then move and take 5 more samples. It gets really exciting. So I'm not going to show the whole thing. So what I end up with is it returns my values in an X and Y grid of what the sensor determined about my bed level. So I can look at these numbers and I don't see very well in numbers. I need things drawn out. I mean, I can see that starting in this corner it's like plus 0.6 and it's plus 0.4 by the time I get here and plus 1.7. So here's what I did to make this functional is select all that text, hit copy. Alright, and then I'm going to paste this into a notepad document and save it. And maybe there's a better way to do this, I don't know, but this is how I know that it's going to work. So I'm going to put it in, I don't know, I'll just leave it on my desktop and call this grid 01. Doesn't matter what you name it. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Excel and go to File and Open and pick my desktop. Now it's not going to show you immediately that file, that text file, unless you go to Open All Excel Files and pick All Files. And now there's my grid 01. And this text import wizard will allow you to automatically set everything into columns and rows from a text file. There are tons of options here. I'm going to show you how I get through this quickly. You can obviously play with this on your own. So I click Next. This is using Office 2013, by the way. And I scroll down a little bit, make sure all my column dividers are set correctly, so it's keeping each one of those column numbers separated. And I could click Next if I wanted to and pick, format each one of these as a different type of data. I don't even care. I just click Finish. All I care about is getting my text into my Excel spreadsheet. So there is all of my grid information, and it's in columns and rows instead. I'm going to select all of this and go to Insert. And there are different chart types up here, but the easiest way to get to the one I want is Recommended Charts and then All Charts. And in there is the Surface option. So this is going to create a 3D surface based on the values that I got from my G29 command. And you have different types of surfaces you can pick. I'm just going to pick the first one and click OK and make it a little bigger so we can see it. So this is a visual representation of my bed area. And if I right click on that and pick 3D rotation, this allows me to change my X and Y, my perspective on this. And I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees so you can see that this is the back part of my bed right here and this is the front that's facing me. And my lowest spot is minus 0.5, and my highest one is 1.2. I guess that's. So you can see how my bed is really slanted a lot. I can set my Y to 0, and it's like almost 2 to minus 0.5. So it's quite a bit of slant to it. It also, and I knew this before, if I keep rotating it, I can see that there's this curvature, there's this warp on this bed, and there's nothing I can do about that. It's just bent a little bit. And obviously you can play with these settings and set this to however you want. But the way I'm going to fix this is I'm looking at this and the front of it needs to go up more. So what I'm going to do is just be super low tech, and I could try to do all the math for steps per revolution and my gear ratios and the ratio of my lead screw, and if I could do math, I'd be a real engineer, and I'm just a hack. So I'm just going to click this. This rotation, clockwise is going to move my bed up. I'm just going to go 20 clicks. And I'm going to rehome, send my G29, and here are my values this time. And you can tell just by looking at the numbers that they're closer, and I wouldn't even need to go through the graphing process again, but that looks much, much better than what it was. So back to Excel, and going to reopen. Here's how I look now. And this way. Not too bad considering what I have to work with on this bed. It's fairly straight now. I like having the visual representation. Maybe other people don't care. That's fine. You don't have to. But even without that, I can see that my numbers from one side to the other here are much closer than they were. And if this helps you, great, because not everyone is familiar with all the different ways that you can use Excel to visualize data. So hope it helps. Have fun.